किसी अर्जुन को श्रेष्ठ साबित करने के लिए हर युग में एकलव्य का अंगूठा कटाया गया है। अंगूठे तो आज भी कट रहे हैं और अब द्रोणाचार्यों ने दुर्बलता को कानून बना दिया है। Let's look at some numbers, shall we? For an exam like NEET, there are 25 lakh students competing for just 50,000 seats. For an exam like JEE, there are 14 lakh aspirants vying for 14,000. So no, I disagree with the government on this premise that even though coachings may create
what today's coaching institutions are doing. They are prioritizing rote learning over true understanding, thus reducing education to a mere race for marks. आज के कोचिंग संस्थानों ने गुणवत्तापूर्ण शिक्षा को हर नागरिक के मौलिक अधिकार से एक विशेष अधिकार बना दिया है। चिंतित माता पिता की नजरों में ये कोचिंग संस्थान पैसा छापने की मशीन बन गए हैं, जो प्रतियोगी परीक्षाओं में अव्वल रहने की होड़ में निजी कोचिंग केंद्रों द्वारा अभिभावकों से मनमाना शुल्क या छात्र पर तैयारी हेतु अधिक दबाव बनाया जाने लगा।
ऑनरेबल मेंबर काइंडली कंक्लूड।
जी, मेरे साथ ही समस्या
Question hour. Question number 1, Honorable Member Gauri Mangal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Madam Speaker, will the Honorable Education Minister be pleased to state, number 1, is the government planning to make special arrangements for English and computer education in government higher secondary schools in rural areas? If yes, what is the plan of action? If not, why not? Secondly, what efforts are being made by the government to increase the enrollment of students in biology, physics, chemistry, and mathematics subjects in higher secondary schools in the state? Thirdly, is the government planning to give any concession as an incentive to students to choose these subjects? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Ms. Deeksha Agarwal, Honorable Education Minister.
Thank you, Speaker Madam. Honorable Speaker Madam, I wish to inform that the government is committed to enhance the knowledge of students in English and computer education. English is already a subject at secondary and senior secondary level, and computer is offered as an optional subject in some of the government schools, which will be gradually introduced in all the government schools. The government is also keen to introduce artificial intelligence in government schools. The government is striving to boost enrollment of students in science in all higher secondary schools. This involves training teachers extensively and enhancing infrastructure for practical learning experience. The teachers and principal are counseling students to opt for science. State governments are also recruiting teachers for science subjects. Books and reference material on these subjects will be made available in the libraries of school. State government is providing free education to children up to class 12th, and as such there is no occasion to give further concession. However, government is organizing science fairs and orientation programs for students as well as teachers.
Question number 2, Honorable Member Harsh Sharma.
Madam, will the Honorable Education Minister be pleased to state, firstly, does the government plan strict implementation of School Fees Regulation Act? If yes, then what is the action plan in this regard? Secondly, is any mechanism being made for quick resolution of disputes related to school fees? If yes, then what? And if not, then why? Thank you.
Deeksha Agarwal, Honorable Education Minister.
Thank you, Speaker Madam. Honorable Speaker Madam, I wish to inform school fee is unaided private schools are regulated by Rajasthan School Regulation of Fee Act 2016 and Rules of 2017. Full mechanism is provided in the Act for fixation of fee. The government has mandated private schools to provide information on private school portal in relation to formation of Parents-Teacher Association and school level fee commitment, along with fee determined by the school level fee committee, which is accessible by public. Contravention of provision will lead to penalty up to ₹2 lakhs. Fee collected in excess will also have to be refunded to students from whom it was collected. The state government take cognizance of the complaint against any school and take action as per law.
Question number 3, Honorable Member Radha Sant.
Thank you, Speaker Madam. Will the Honorable Social Justice and Empowerment Minister be pleased to state, firstly, Is the government planning to appoint special educators in the government schools in the state? Secondly, are adequate facilities being provided to specially abled students in government schools? If not, does the government plan to provide the required facilities? And thirdly, is the government planning to open independent special schools at the district level for specially abled students? If yes, then by when? And if not, then why not? Thank you, Speaker Madam.
Arman Sareen, Honorable Social Justice Minister.
Thank you, Speaker Madam. I stand to inform that, firstly, the government is in process of appointing trained special educators in government schools to cater to students with disabilities and diverse learning gaps. These educators are crucial for providing personalized support and ensuring inclusive education across all levels. However, qualified special educators are not available for appointment, so we are planning to depute some teachers for training as special educators to fill the gap. Secondly, the state government is committed to provide all requisite facilities to disabled students. Ramps have been made at school entrance. New buildings are being constructed with all necessary facilities required for disabled children. The state government also plans to orient teachers to identify and assess different kinds of disabilities in children. And lastly, plan for establishing independent schools for specially able students is under consideration of the state. In the next 2 years, the state will establish at least one such independent school in every district. Thank you, Madam.
Question number 4, Honorable Member Vivan Banerjee.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Will the Honorable Finance Minister be pleased to state, firstly, does the government plan to implement prohibition on the sale of liquor in the state in public interest? If yes, then by when? And if not, then why? Secondly, what is the government's action plan to remove liquor shops operating around schools, religious places, hospitals, and restricted areas in the state? Thank you.
Riya Singh, Honorable Finance Minister.
Thank you, Speaker Madam. Implementing prohibition on the sale of liquor poses significant challenges due to several reasons. Firstly, there are considerable economic implications as the state needs funds for various public welfare initiatives. Secondly, tourism can be adversely affected as Rajasthan is a popular destination for both national and international visitors, and travelers may not choose destinations with liquor restrictions. Additionally, enforcing prohibition could lead to an increase in illegal supply from other neighboring states. Even if sale is banned, it may not result in achieving desired results. For your second question, license for sale of liquor is not issued to anyone to operate a shop within close proximity to schools, religious places, hospitals, and restricted areas in the state. Unauthorized shops and near these places are dealt with strictly by the Excise Department and the police. Thank you.
Question number 5, Honorable Member Anjali Sharma.
Will the Honorable, thank you, Madam Speaker. Will the Honorable Home Minister be pleased to state what steps are being taken by the government to prevent the increasing trend of use of intoxicants and narcotics among the youth in the state? Secondly, does the government plan to open more de-addiction centers at the district level? If yes, then when, and if not, then why?
Saptarishi Datta, Honorable Home Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Madam. I would like to answer the question. Our government is taking all the steps to crack down on the drug peddlers who are playing with the future of the youth. The government is organizing different awareness campaigns, counseling, and rehabilitation programs. We will intensify law enforcement against the drug traffickers and engage the youth in participating in constructive activities. Police personnel are deployed in civilian clothes in sensitive areas. Random checks are conducted at the state boundaries to curb the entrance of the illegal goods inside the country. A special task force is created to check on the sale, usage, and transportation of narcotics. Secondly, the de-addiction centers are set up in most of the districts. The de-addiction centers, along with the primary health centers, will be set up in each and every place in a phased manner. Thank you.
Honorable member, may I ask the supplementary question?
With the permission of the Honorable Speaker, I request the Honorable Minister to inform that, firstly, how many drug peddlers are arrested in the last 6 months? Secondly, what will be the strength of personnel engaged in Special Task Force, and will that strength be sufficient to curb the drug supply?
Honorable Minister, please respond.
96 drug peddlers have been arrested in the last 6 months. Each state will have 5 task force in its district, and each task force will have 10 members operational. Thank you.
Question number 6, Honorable Member Vedika Verma.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Madam. Honorable Speaker, Madam, will the Honorable Science and Technology Minister be pleased to state, firstly, does the government plan to fix an age limit for online gaming and make a law to regulate it? If yes, then when? And if not, then why not? And secondly, what steps have been taken by the government so far to spread awareness about cybercrime in the schools in the state? Thank you, Honorable Ma'am.
Rishank Rawat, Honorable Science and Technology Minister.
Thank you, Speaker, Madam. I stand to state that the government is seeking technical advice from experts for devising some mechanism to fix an age limit on online gaming. On the advice of experts and in consultation with the Government of India, the government does plan on bringing about some legislation to protect minors and eliminate such social evils. Secondly, the government is creating public awareness and especially amongst the parents to be watchful and serious about the activities of their children. The state is collaborating with NGOs to spread awareness about cybercrime in schools through workshops and seminars. A cybercrime branch is functioning in the police department under the charge of the officer of rank DIG, and we have an effective mechanism to deal with cybercrimes. Thank you, Speaker, Madam.
Question number 7, Honorable Member Avantika Soni.
Speaker, does the government plan to arrange for regular fitness checks of auto rickshaws, vans and buses that ferry the children to the school in the state? If not, then why? Secondly, what is the action plan to control the overloading of children in the school vehicles and reckless driving of the vehicles? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Athar Bhiwal, Honorable Transport Minister.
Thank you, Speaker, Madam. Firstly, regular fitness checks of auto rickshaws, vans and buses that transport children to schools in the state is carried, but a large number of vehicles is running on the road, so it is difficult for the government to take off the unfit vehicles off the road. The Education Department has issued guidelines for Balvahinis and has requested the schools and parents to check the registration, fitness, insurance, driving license, etc. of the vehicles engaged by them for transportation of their wards. Surprise inspections will be carried out of the gates of school to ensure that these vehicles meet safety regulations. Secondly, the government is taking serious action against the vehicles which are overloaded and driving recklessly. Campaigns to check such violations conducted from time to time. Overloading vehicles will be confiscated and license of such drivers will be cancelled forever. The state is going to follow zero tolerance policy. Thank you.
Question number 8, Honorable Member Ananya Gupta.
Speaker, Madam. Honorable Speaker, Madam, will the Honorable Sports Minister be pleased to state, number 1, does the government plan to make a special scheme to promote sports activities in schools? If yes, then by when? And if not, then why? Number 2, does the government plan to make any alternative arrangements for the schools deprived of playgrounds? Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Madam.
Vedika Ved Prakash, Honorable Sports Minister.
धन्यवाद माननीय सभापति साहिबा। मैं यह बताना चाहूंगी कि जी हां, सरकार ने स्कूलों में खेल कूद को बढ़ावा देने एवं विद्यार्थियों को प्रोत्साहित करने हेतु विशेष योजनाएं लागू की हैं। सरकार द्वारा खेलो राजस्थान खेलो एवं राज्य स्तरीय ओलंपिक आयोजित किए जाएंगे। राष्ट्रीय एवं अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर विजेता खिलाड़ियों को विशेष पुरस्कार देने की घोषणा भी की गई है। सरकार की योजना है कि प्रत्येक जिला स्तर पर एक स्टेडियम हो और वहां प्रशिक्षक उपलब्ध रहें। इसी के साथ प्राचीन भारतीय खेलों को भी प्रोत्साहित करने की योजना बना रहे हैं। 2028 में आयोजित होने वाले ओलंपिक में राजस्थान के खिलाड़ी अपना स्थान बना सकें, इस हेतु खिलाड़ियों को अभी से ही पहचान कर उन्हें प्रशिक्षण देना प्रारंभ कर दिया जाएगा। जिन विद्यालयों में खेल कूद के मैदान उपलब्ध नहीं हैं, उन विद्यालयों के समीप स्टेडियम व पार्क आदि को उपयोग में ली जाने की व्यवस्था की जाएगी। राज्य सरकार ने केंद्र सरकार से सरकारी स्कूलों में खेल सुविधाएं विकसित कराने के लिए विशेष फंड उपलब्ध कराने का निवेदन भी किया है। सरकार द्वारा सभी विद्यार्थियों को शारीरिक गतिविधि और खेल कूद की सुविधाएं उपलब्ध कराई जाएंगी। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Question number 9, Honorable Member Ayushi Singh.
Thank you, Speaker Madam. Will the Honorable Water Supply Minister be pleased to state, first, is the state government planning to make any laws to make water supply harvesting system compulsory in the government buildings and various residential complexes for water conservation? If not, then why not? Second, is the government planning to make any plans for action to revive ponds, rivers, dams for water conservation? If yes, then what? And by when? And if not, then why not?
Shri Parna Vyas, Honorable Water Supply Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker Madam. I wish to inform that most of the state buildings have water harvesting system. Regulations to have water harvesting system in commercial and residential complexes are being included in the new building bylaws. A scheme to give incentive to the owners of commercial and residential complexes having water harvesting system is under consideration. This initiative aims to enhance water conservation of efforts across the state, ensuring sustainable use of water resources and mitigating water scarcity issues. Mukhyamantri Jal Swavalamban Abhiyan is a scheme of state government which is based on 4 waters concept. It involves harvesting of available runoff in rural areas by treatment of catchment, proper utilization, renovation and creation of new water harvesting structure. Coming to your next question, the state is committed to restore ponds, rivers and dams. The mission is a difficult task as there was a lack of strict monitoring on destroying water channels to fill such useful ponds, rivers and dams. Unplanned urbanization and unauthorized constructions are the main reason for deterioration of these water storage and supply channels. The state government will seek help from experts to deal with and improve the condition of ponds, rivers and dams. The Honorable High Court, with the matter, and a monitoring committee has been constituted by the Honorable High Court to monitor the progress. The state government has removed all encroachment in the 4 tehsils.
Honorable Member, may I ask the supplementary question?
With the permission of Honorable Speaker, I request the Honorable Minister to inform, is the Honorable Water Supply Minister is aware of the recent judgment of Honorable Supreme Court delivered on 16/7/2024 stating that the state has a constitutional duty to not only protect the water bodies in the state also but to resource those water bodies which have been legally filled in. Second, will the Honorable Minister be pleased to state to make available aerial photographs of catchment areas in Ramgarh Dam and assure that the house that encroach with the demolished within a certain period? Thank you.
Honorable Minister, please respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker Madam. The state is examining the judgment of Honorable Supreme Court and we will take necessary steps to restore all water bodies which have been illegally filled in. About your next question, a monitoring committee constituted by the Honorable High Court is also working on the issue. The state will remove all encroachments from the catchment area within a period of 1 year.
Thank you.
Question number 10, Honorable Member Anika Bhargav.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Madam. Will the Honorable Food and Consumer Minister be pleased to state, firstly, does the government plan to take effective steps to curb adulteration in food items? If yes, then what? Secondly, are there sufficient number of health inspectors available to prevent adulteration? If not, then what does the government plan to recruit them? Thirdly, is the number of laboratories in the state adequate for testing adulteration samples in food items? If not, then does the government plan to open new laboratories? If yes, then by when? Thank you.
Droni Kulshrestha, Honorable Food and Consumer Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Madam. I'd like to state that, firstly, the department is conducting regular inspections and taking samples, and whenever these samples of perishable edible items are found unsafe, the same are destroyed then and there or seized. Campaigns, Shuddha Ke Liye Yudh, are carried from time to time. The state government is creating a helpline on which the consumer can make a complaint or send a photograph of the vendor selling edibles in unhygienic conditions. The state government will reward the informer for giving correct information about adulteration. Secondly, the state government is filling vacancies for food safety officers, and a few more posts are being created so that food adulteration can be checked effectively. Lastly, the state has sufficient number of food testing laboratories in the state. More laboratories and mobile testing laboratories will be established soon. Thank you.
The question hour is over. The House will now take up the resolution. Honorable Member Soumya Singh Bhadoria.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This House urges the government that there should be an effective regulatory framework for coaching institutions to ensure that coaching institutes operate transparently, prioritize student well-being, and provide equitable access to quality coaching for all. कोटा में रहना एक जेल के समान है। यहाँ हमेशा दबाव बना रहता है और उम्मीदें बहुत ऊंची हैं। ये मेरे शब्द नहीं, ये कोटा के एक छात्र के शब्द हैं। महोदय, एक मामूली सवाल से शुरू करते हैं। कोचिंग संस्थान इतने ज़रूरी हो क्यों गए हैं? इसका कारण हमारी शिक्षा प्रणाली में है। उदाहरण के लिए जेईई परीक्षा को लेते हैं। कहा जाता है कि जेईई एनसीईआरटी पाठ्यक्रम पर आधारित है, लेकिन जाहिर सी बात है कि एनसीईआरटी काफ़ी नहीं। पिछले 2023 में पिछले साल 14 लाख से ज़्यादा छात्रों ने जेईई के लिए प्रयास किया, जबकि आईआईटीज़ में कुछ 16,000 सीटें ही हैं। अब इस श्रेणी का कंपटीशन होगा तो कोई छात्र अतिरिक्त कोचिंग की तलाश क्यों नहीं करेगा? एक सवाल हमें ये भी पूछना चाहिए कि ये परीक्षाएं पूरी तरह स्कूल के पाठ्यक्रम पर आधारित क्यों नहीं है? पर हमें ये सवाल भी पूछना चाहिए कि अगर ये परीक्षाएं पूरी तरह स्कूल के पाठ्यक्रम पर आधारित भी हुई तो फिर वो कॉलेज के लिए कैसे तैयारी करेंगे? स्थिति तो ऐसी है कि नकली स्कूल से उभर आए हैं। सभापति महोदय, कोचिंग संस्थानों की मांग हमारे सिस्टम ने ही बनाई है और इन संस्थानों ने शिक्षा को एक व्यापार सा बना दिया है। वर्तमान में कोचिंग संस्थानों के लिए दिशा निर्देश हैं जो कई महत्वपूर्ण समस्याओं का समाधान भी प्रोवाइड करते हैं, लेकिन वो कानूनी रूप से बाध्यकारी नहीं। इसीलिए इन संस्थानों को किसी भी दुर्घटना के लिए जिम्मेदार ठहराना नामुमकिन सा हो जाता है। दुख की बात है कि आज इस देश का युवा दबाव में आके आत्महत्या करने पर मजबूर हो जाता है, इस भ्रम में कि इस परीक्षा के आगे उनका जीवन ही नहीं, कि अगर वो ये एग्जाम क्लियर नहीं कर पाए तो उनके जीवन का कोई महत्व ही नहीं। सर, दुख की बात यह है कि हमारे लिए इन छात्रों का जीवन बस डेटा बन के रह गया है और डेटा के अनुसार 2020 में 10,000 से अधिक छात्रों ने आत्महत्या की, लेकिन वर्तमान में कोटा जैसे शहरों में बच्चों के कमरे से पंखे उतारना एक बेहतर सुझाव माना जा रहा है। गुणवत्तापूर्ण कोचिंग भी एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दा है। कोचिंग संस्थानों में बड़ी आम बात है कि आपके मार्क्स के अनुसार आपकी क्लासेस बढ़ जाएंगी और आपके अध्यापक भी बदल जाएंगे, जबकि सब छात्रों ने फीस तो एक ही समान दी है। अंत में शिक्षा प्रणाली और सरकार की निष्क्रियता को सुधारने की जरूरत है। साथ ही साथ समाज की सोच भी बदलनी पड़ेगी। महोदय, आप, मैं, हम सभी तो समाज बनाते हैं, तो सबसे पहला बदलाव हमें ही लाना होगा, एक मानसिक बदलाव। थैंक यू सो मच ऑनरेबल स्पीकर मैडम।
I will now call honorable members to express their views one by one. Kindly confine yourself to 3 minutes each. Honorable Member Dhruvan Shah.
Thank you for recognition, Honorable Speaker, ma'am. डॉक्टर एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम जी ने कहा है, शिक्षा का उद्देश्य केवल बच्चों को जानकारी देना नहीं बल्कि उन्हें सोचना सिखाना है, उन पर दबाव डालकर उन्हें रटवाना क्या पढ़ाने का सही तरीका है? Yet today, we stand at a critical juncture where the future of our youths are being determined not only by our schools and universities, but also by the burgeoning industry of coaching institutions. These institutions have become the lifeline for millions of students aspiring to excel in competitive examinations. Yet, we must confront an unsettling truth. The lack of an effective and regulatory framework is putting the lives of our students at risk. Let's take for an example the tragic story of Khushbu Meena, a young and a bright girl who succumbed to immense pressure, driven to take her own life. Why exactly? Just because she couldn't score more than 95% in her board examinations. This is not just an isolated incident. In Kota, Rajasthan, the hub of India's coaching institute, there have been numerous suicides attributed to the immense pressure and burden being placed on the students. Just last year, we heard the heartbreaking case of a young girl, Niharika Solanki, who ended her own life. She left behind a note. It described the immense burden she was being placed under by her coaching institutions. ऐसी कितनी जाने जाएगी जिसके पहले हम कोई ठोस कदम उठाएंगे? ऐसे कितने सपने बिखरेंगे जिसके पहले हम कोई रेगुलेशन की मांग करेंगे? इन कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूशंस को ट्रांसपेरेंटली ऑपरेट करना ही पड़ेगा. उन्हें बच्चों के मेंटल हेल्थ का ख्याल रखना पड़ेगा और एक सपोर्ट सिस्टम की तरह काम करना ही पड़ेगा. Let us not forget the equation of parents in this scenario. Parents too play a critical role. Driven by the fear of their children falling behind, they often push them to these high-pressure environments. We need to create awareness among parents about the importance of mental health and the balanced growth of their children. We must encourage them to look after the overall development of their child and not just focus solely on academic achievements. Let us not forget the role of mental health counselors in this scenario. These institutions should be mandated to have mental health counselors who can provide guidance and support to these children so that they can cope up with the stress and anxiety associated with these competitive examinations. Let us not turn a blind eye to the suffering of our youth. It is time for the government of India to step in, to create and enforce regulations that hold these institutions accountable for the suicides attempted by our children. मुस्तकाबिल के ख्वाब जो आंखों में सजाए जाते हैं वो बेजान किताबों तले रोंदे जाते हैं. कब तक इन कोचिंग की बेड़ियां हमें सताई रखेगी? अब वक्त आ गया है कि हम इसे सामने लाएंगे. धन्यवाद और जय हिंद.
ऑनरेबल मेंबर नायशा चेड़ा.
एक और स्टूडेंट ने की आत्महत्या. A 16-year-old JEE student attempted suicide in Kota. हम सब सोचते होंगे इसने सुसाइड अपनी स्टडी प्रेशर्स के लिए की होगी, लेकिन इसके पीछे जिसका हाथ है उन्हें हम कुछ नहीं बोलते. कोचिंग सेंटर्स, जी हाँ, कोचिंग सेंटर्स. In spite of knowing the error in the functionality of these coaching centers, we do not say against anything. महोदया, भारतवर्ष में आज़ादी के पश्चात धर्म और शिक्षा के व्यवसायीकरण हो गया है. शिक्षा अगर दान देने की वस्तु है तो उसका व्यवसायीकरण क्यों? कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स की अलग सेंटर्स में अलग फीस क्यों? The classes in these coaching centers have been divided on the basis of the students' intelligence level. Brilliant students have been taught by excellent faculties and receive concession in their fees, whereas the average students are taught by average faculties and have to pay higher fees. ऐसा भेदभाव क्यों? जब सब स्टूडेंट्स का एक ही लक्ष्य है तो उनमें भेदभाव क्यों करते हैं? Malpractices have occurred. IIT कानपुर में मीटिंग 7 बजे से लेकर 7:30 बजे तक चली और उसके पश्चात ही ये घोषित किया कि IIT का पेपर कैंसिल है. मीटिंग पेपर लीक की वजह से हुई थी. पेपर लीक एक कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट के एक्स्ट्रा क्लास में लीक की गई थी. ऐसे कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स के वजह से हमारे दूसरे बच्चों का रैंक एंड स्कोर्स अफेक्ट होता है. येट वी डोंट स्पीक अगेंस्ट देम. द कोचिंग सेंटर्स शुड बी मॉनिटर्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल्स. The coaching centers teach only core subjects to them, whereas the students have to appear for other languages as well. कोचिंग्स को ये लगता है कि वो उन्हें एंट्रेंस टेस्ट के लिए तैयार कर रहे हैं, लेकिन उनकी 12th का क्या? उन्हें अपनी सिलेबस में रीजनल लैंग्वेजेस भी ऐड करना चाहिए. The coaching centers have unplanned schedules with the students studying for 18 hours a day, 7 days a week with no time for leisure. Psychology के हिसाब से a student cannot study for 18 hours a day without going into depression, which can eventually lead him to suicide and feel lonely. Government को coaching centers के लिए एक timetable schedule करना चाहिए. In January this year, the Union Ministry of Education issued strict guidelines that institutions cannot issue misleading government's advertisements about guaranteeing ranks and good marks. फिर भी भारत के हर एक गली में आपको एक ना एक कोचिंग के होर्डिंग ज़रूर दिखेंगे. इनमें कितनी सच्चाई है हमें क्या पता. हम तो वैसे भी अंधे की लाठी नहीं, अंधे खुद बन चुके हैं. जय हिंद. थैंक यू.
Honorable Member Shreya Mukherjee.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, before I commence, Kargil Divas का सभी को नमन. With utter grief, I state that in India, the grading system is now like the new division system. 95% लाए तो superior, उससे नीचे लाए तो inferior. Starting with a few cases, students in Panipat were promised government jobs provided they joined the computer science course provided by a computer course coaching center. पर end में ना उन्हें नौकरी मिली ना course. This is one of the reasons why an RTI, right to information, should be implemented with fact-checking proofs regarding success rates and educators' qualifications. Now, बात करते हैं coaching centers की, तो it does not just particularly refer to education. इसमें sports भी आता है, because sports के भी coaching classes होती है. तो इसी का example लेके 8 जुलाई 2024 में केरला में Kerala Cricket Association में there was a male teacher who assaulted female students. यहाँ भी सुरक्षा नहीं मिली, इधर भी असहाय होने की आवाज़ गूंजी. As usual, भारत में लॉ की तबाही हो चुकी है. As per the new recent regulations of coaching centers, no child under the age of 16 can attend any coaching classes. पर यहाँ तो IIT की प्रिपरेशन 6th grade से होती है. Secondly, false advertisement cannot be published. तो जब 2 coaching centers same बच्चे का credit ले, तो हम जनता किस पे भरोसा करें? Secondly, 3 अखबार में 3 different coaching institutions में एक ही चेहरा कैसे हो सकता है? All coaching centers have manipulated minds into thinking कि 10 साल मेहनत करो और 40 साल मजे. पर कुछ लोगों के लिए वो 40 साल आते नहीं है. Why? Because the Indian education system viciously murders those students. Suicide rate काउंट करे तो शायद वो नंबर कोचिंग सेंटर के फीस से मैच करे. बच्चों के भीतर ही कंपटीशन की आग जला दी है. पर सवाल ये नहीं है कि आग किसने जलाई है. सवाल ये नहीं है कि आग किसने जलाई है. सवाल ये है कि एजुकेशन सिस्टम के हाथ में तील किसने दी है. हम सब बच्चों की मौत सह लेंगे, पर इंडियन एजुकेशन सिस्टम का कड़वा सच नहीं. हम सब इंडियन एजुकेशन सिस्टम के सामने बच्चों को 3-4 घंटे पढ़ा सकते हैं, बट कैन नॉट इवन डिवोट 1 single minute टू देयर मेंटल हेल्थ. हम सब एनटीए का असली चेहरा खुशी खुशी सह लेंगे और घर वालों की खुशियां एक पल में उड़ा देंगे.
Honorable member, kindly conclude your speech.
Which is why there should be different amendments, starting with psychological tests that would be conducted even for the ones who commit these scams to detect early cases of depression and anxiety. Classes should be confined to 1 hour 30 minutes, plus breaks should be given, which would implement mental infringement for students. Refund details should be explained properly. And एक छोटी सी advice to all the newspapers.
Honorable member, the time to speak is over. Kindly take your seat. Honorable member Diva Sharma.
I'll start now.
किसी अर्जुन को श्रेष्ठ साबित करने के लिए हर युग में एकलव्य का अंगूठा कटाया गया है. अंगूठे तो आज भी कट रहे हैं और अब द्रोणाचार्यों ने दुर्बलता को कानून बना दिया है. Greetings to the members of the House. Even today we witness instances where individuals have to give up their potential akin to Eklavya's sacrifice. But this time it's due to organizational corruption, biased schemes, paper leaks and the mishandling of laws by modern day Dronacharyas. Between 2019 and 2021, more than 36,000 students have died by committing suicide, and that is not a small number. Upon seeing this, our government decided to wake up from its sweet slumber and gave us the 2024 regulatory coaching guidelines. However, they've missed the mark with this one, and let's see how. Firstly, the guidelines state at multiple places that there is undue stress or academic pressure on coaching-going students.
Let's look at some numbers, shall we? For an exam like NEET, there are 25 lakh students competing for just 50,000 seats. For an exam like JEE, there are 14 lakh aspirants vying for 14,000. So no, I disagree with the government on this premise that even though coachings may create pressure on students, one of the major reasons for stress in their life is the limited number of government college seats. A simple solution involves increasing the number of seats available, but our government has not paid heed to that either. A new regulation in the guidelines state that no student below the age of 16 can enroll in private centers. However, what we are forgetting, ladies and gentlemen, is that preparation for higher competitive exams like UPSC, JEE or NEET isn't done overnight. It takes time and efforts of early foundational courses. But with such provisions, we're robbing the younger generation of beautiful opportunities.
Honorable member, kindly conclude your speech.
India's education system is severely underfunded, with most states just allotting 2.5 to 3.2% of their GDP to education, which is far below the Kothari Commission's recommended 6%. So I urge the government to finally start investing more in building better infrastructure and teacher skills.
Honorable member, the time for your speech is over. Kindly take your seat.
Thank you.
Honorable member Kanak Chandak.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Namaste and greetings to the House at large. The motion in this House urges the government that there should be an effective regulatory framework for coaching institutions to ensure that these coaching institutes operate transparently, prioritize student well-being and provide equitable access to quality education. Speaking in total agreement to this motion, today I stand here. I stand here with the opportunity to represent thousands of people who have merely suffered in different aspects, being education or their well-being, due to the existing inefficient framework of these coaching institutions. Now, the question that arises is that why is it important for these coaching organizations to ensure having a quote-unquote effective regulatory framework? Madam Speaker and ladies and gentlemen, the 58,000 crores worth coaching industry in India hosts lakhs of teenage students from across the country. With 65% of India's population of 1.4 billion people below the age of 35 and more young people pursuing higher education than any time in this country's history, the stakes and competition have never been higher. For the hundreds of thousands of students studying in coaching centers, largely between the age groups of 16 and 20, keeping up with the curriculum often means an eye-watering schedule. They work 7 days a week, and in order to keep up, many start at 4 a.m. Ladies and gentlemen, they start at 4 a.m. before attending 6 hours of a class, which accommodate around hundreds of students. Now imagine yourself as a part of this competitive environment. Are you not thrown towards the spotlight on the grueling culture of coaching and the heavy burdens, academic, familial, and social? Speaker, Madam, and ladies and gentlemen, on top of this pressure that these teenagers are put into, imagine the institutions to have no proper infrastructure with inadequate provisions. What coaching institutes in our country comprise today is the lack of basic facilities such as toilets, proper fire exits, and adequate seating facilities. All of these reasons.
Kindly conclude.
Right. As representatives of India's youth, it is our responsibility to make sure that education is not divided by everything. It is our responsibility to ensure that economic situations, gender, caste and creed are not divided by education. It is our responsibility to hear the cries of hundreds of Indians who urge for an effective framework. With this, I'd like to conclude my debate. Thank you, Speaker Madam. Jai Hind.
Honorable Member Tejasva Vashisht.
Thank you, Speaker Madam. Madam, नज़र को बदला जाए तो नज़ारे तक बदल जाते हैं, सोच को बदला जाए तो सितारे भी बदल जाते हैं, कश्तियों को बदलने की ज़रूरत नहीं होती, केवल दिशा को बदलने से किनारे अपने आप बदल जाते हैं। एक ऐसे ही दिशा की कमी आज हमारी कोचिंगों में साफ महसूस की जा सकती है। ऑनरेबल चेयर, एस्टीम्ड मेंबर्स, ना चोर हार्यम ना च राज्य कार्यम ना भ्रात भाज्यम न च भारकारी व्यय कृते वर्धते एवं नित्यम विद्याधनम सर्वदम प्रधानम। Education is something that cannot be stolen, cannot be taxed. The more you spend, the more it becomes, the more you share, the more it expands. इतनी बड़े इन्वेस्टमेंट होने के बाद भी अगर हमारे बजट का केवल 10% इसकी ओर खर्च करा जाता है तो जनाब ये सोचने वाली बात है। मुद्दे की बात पर आते हुए, मान लो आप अपना एडमिशन कराने जाओ, 2 महीने तक आप जमकर स्कॉलरशिप टेस्ट की तैयारी करते हो और मैं फीस में 30,000 रुपए बढ़ाकर आपको 30,001 रुपए की स्कॉलरशिप दे दूं। सर, ये आपका केस नहीं, दिस इज द केस ऑफ 60% स्टूडेंट्स इन इंडिया। We need upfront fee disclosures. We need clear refund policies and regular audits. बात करते हैं अलार्मिंग मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज की। एक ज़माना था, श्रीमान टीकाराम जूली साहब ने भी यही कहा कि हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि वापस से युवावस्था में आते। लोग कहते हैं अगर हम भी अगर बच्चे होते तो आराम से खेल कूद तो पा रहे होते। पर सर, आज वही 56% बच्चे डिप्रेशन का शिकार हो चुके हैं। 60% बच्चों के पास मेंटल हेल्थ सपोर्ट नाम की चीज़ नहीं है। ये कंसर्निंग नहीं है। चलो इक्विटेबल एक्सेस की बात करते हैं। मान लो आपकी तबीयत भगवान ना करे बट खराब हो जाए, आप फल लेने जाओ, सेम दाम में आपको मिलते हैं दवाई वाले सड़े हुए फल, वहीं दूसरे स्वस्थ इंसान को मिलते हैं सबसे बेस्ट क्वालिटी के ऑर्गेनिक फल। सुनकर अजीब लगा, पर ये सवाल हम तब क्यों नहीं पूछते हैं जब सेम कोचिंग में 2 बच्चे सेम फीस भरते हैं, एक को टॉप बैच एक को लोअर बैच में डिवाइड कर दिया जाता है। Why is it that when we talk about equitable access to quality coaching, we only talk about fees and scholarships? Isn't this a violation too? स्पीकर मैडम ने कंक्लूड करने कह दिया है, तो अंत में केवल यही कहना चाहूँगा, कागजी काम काफ़ी नहीं, ज़मीनी हकीकत पर भी ध्यान दें, विद्यार्थी के विकास और न्याय संघ कोचिंग का अभियान दें और ऐसे 2 बोर्ड कोचिंग सेंटर्स को भी दान दें। धन्यवाद।
ऑनरेबल मेंबर हिमाक्षी शेखावत।
धन्यवाद मैडम। मैं शुरू करती हूँ सोने की चिड़िया कहे जाने वाले मेरे प्यारे देश भारत से। महर्षि कश्यप, महर्षि चरक, वाग्भट, आदि शंकराचार्य, गुरु द्रोण, जिन्होंने मेरे भारत में शिक्षा की नींव रखी, और चले आते थे लोग देश विदेश से शिक्षा पाने विश्व गुरु भारत से। हमारा भारत सदैव से शिक्षा केंद्र के रूप में विकसित रहा है। समय बीतते बीतते विभिन्न संस्कृतियों का भारत में आगमन हुआ और इस विलय में शिक्षा पद्धतियों का विलोप हो गया। आज जब हम खुद को विश्व गुरु के रूप में फिर से स्थापित करने के प्रयास पे हैं, तो सवाल ये उठता है कि क्या भारत फिर से विश्व गुरु बनने के लिए तैयार है? पिछले 2 दशकों में कोचिंग संस्थानों की संख्या हमारी शैक्षिक परंपरा और संस्कृति के परिदृश्य में तेजी से उदय हुई है और इनका नंबर बढ़ता जा रहा है। ऐसे केंद्रों द्वारा छात्रों से अत्यधिक फीस वसूली और छात्रों पर अनुचित मानसिक तनाव के परिणाम स्वरूप छात्रों में अपना जीवन जानबूझकर स्वयं समाप्त करने के बहुत सारे मामले सामने आए हैं। 16वीं राजस्थान विधानसभा में लगाए गए एक प्रश्न के जवाब में उच्च शिक्षा मंत्रालय ने बताया कि जनवरी 2019 से जनवरी 2024 के बीच राजस्थान में 71 स्टूडेंट्स ने मेंटल प्रेशर, डिप्रेशन, प्रताड़ना के कारण अपनी जान दे दी। 2019 की बात करें तो 16 लाख छात्रों ने नीट और 21 लाख छात्रों ने जेईई का एग्जाम दिया। इनमें से अधिकतर ने निजी कोचिंग सेंटर में प्रवेश परीक्षा की तैयारी की। निजी कोचिंग सेंटर पर प्रतियोगी परीक्षाओं में अव्वल रहने की होड़ में निजी कोचिंग केंद्रों द्वारा अभिभावकों से मनमाना शुल्क या छात्र पर तैयारी हेतु अधिक दबाव बनाया जाने लगा।
ऑनरेबल मेंबर काइंडली कंक्लूड।
जी, मेरे साथ ही समस्या की बेहतरीन रूप से प्रकट कर चुके हैं। मैं इसका सुधार हेतु सुझाव देना चाहूँगी। पहला, राजस्थान कोचिंग संस्थान विधेयक 2023 के अनुसार विद्यार्थियों एवं परिजनों के मानसिक संबल संबंधी मुद्दों पर तुरंत सुनाई हेतु विशेष न्यायालयों की स्थापना होनी चाहिए। दूसरा, पेरेंट टीचर मीटिंग में पॉजिटिव पेरेंटिंग पर चर्चा व विश्व स्वास्थ्य संगठन द्वारा प्रस्तावित 10 जीवन कौशल शिक्षा स्कूलों को अनिवार्य रूप से शामिल।
टाइम टू स्पीक इज ओवर, काइंडली टेक योर सीट।
धन्यवाद।
ऑनरेबल मेंबर आर्यन पांडे।
Thank you, Speaker Madam. The need for an effective regulatory framework for coaching institutions have been of utmost importance now. These institutions have become indispensable in preparing our students for competitive exams, yet their unregulated growth has led to numerous challenges that demand our immediate attention. संपूर्ण भारत में 10वीं और 12वीं बोर्ड परीक्षाओं में 7 लाख से अधिक विद्यार्थी 90% से ऊपर अंक प्राप्त करते हैं। और IIT में सीटें कितनी हैं? मात्र 17,740 सीटें। यदि केवल वे विद्यार्थी जिन्होंने 90% से ऊपर अंक प्राप्त किए हैं IIT प्रवेश परीक्षा दें, तो भी उनमें से 99% विद्यार्थियों का चयन नहीं होगा। कोचिंग संस्थान पढ़ाई के क्षेत्र में उत्कृष्ट प्रदर्शन करने वाले विद्यार्थियों पर पैनी नजर रखते हैं। जैसे ही कोई विद्यार्थी असाधारण प्रदर्शन करता है, ये कोचिंग संस्थान उन्हें अपने संस्थानों में शामिल करने के हेतु भारी प्रलोभन देते हैं। ये है पूरे भारत में कोचिंग संस्थानों की स्थिति। ये कोचिंग संस्थान असल में विद्यार्थियों के मार्गदर्शन के हेतु स्थापित किए गए थे, लेकिन असल में क्या कर रहे हैं? ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा विद्यार्थियों को आकर्षित करने हेतु और मुनाफा कमाने के लिए विद्यार्थियों को एक तरीके से रिश्वत देकर अपने कोचिंग संस्थानों में प्रवेश दिलवा रहे हैं। कोटा की बात करते हैं। 16 साल का एक लड़का अमन, जो कि पढ़ाई में काफ़ी अच्छा था, उसके माँ बाप ने उसको कोटा भेजकर IIT की तैयारी कराने के लिए कोटा भेजा। अमन के पिता एक गरीब किसान थे, जिन्होंने 5 लाख का लोन उठाकर अमन को कोटा भेजा ताकि वो मेहनत करके IIT क्रैक कर सके। लेकिन मेहनत करने के पश्चात भी उससे एग्ज़ाम्स नहीं क्रैक हुए। टीचर्स ने उसकी काफ़ी प्रेशर बढ़ाया, पेरेंट्स ने प्रेशर बढ़ाया, एंड इवेंचुअली अमन गोज इनटू डिप्रेशन एंड सुसाइड्स। The coaching factories in Kota do produce few gems, but many are dragged into a whirlpool of stress. ये सिर्फ अमन नहीं, उसके जैसे कई बच्चों की कहानी है जो हमें रोज किसी ना किसी अखबार में पढ़ने को मिलती है और बस अखबार के किसी कोने में सीमित रह जाती है। But the sad part is that schooling education.
Kindly conclude.
Yes. I would like to suggest one reform. एक विशेष रूप से चिंताजनक प्रथा है कोचिंग संस्थानों में कि विद्यार्थियों के बुद्धि स्तर पे और मार्क्स के स्तर पर उनको क्लासेस रिकमेंड करी जाती है। जैसे फिटजी और आकाश जैसे संस्थानों में प्रतिभावान विद्यार्थियों को सर्वोत्तम शिक्षक मिलते हैं और उनसे कम शुल्क भी लिया जाता है, और वहीं जो विद्यार्थी कम प्रतिभावान हैं उनसे अधिक शुल्क लिया जाता है और अधिक शुल्क लिया जाता है। ये केवल शिक्षा की गुणवत्ता में समानता नहीं।
Time to speak is over. Kindly have your seat.
Thank you.
Honorable Member Saizampui Silo. Honorable Member Saizampui Silo. Honorable Member Jashan Kumar.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. शाम एक छोटे से शहर में रहने वाला एक नादान बालक था। उसके माता पिता उसे एक बड़ा आदमी बनाना चाहते थे और इसीलिए उन्होंने उसका दाखिला एक कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट में करवाया, परंतु उसके नादान कंधों पर बोझ बहुत था और वह ये बोझ सहन ना कर सका और उसने आत्महत्या कर ली। कुछ ऐसी ही दशा हुई उन 26 बच्चों की जिन्होंने पिछले साल राजस्थान के कोटा में आत्महत्या की। These institutes, which are meant to be a beacon of hope for students aspiring to achieve their dreams, have instead become sources of immense stress and hardship. Alarming rate of student suicides, exorbitant fees, and the pervasive use of black money paint a grim picture of the current state of these coaching centers. To address these issues, I propose the formation of an independent regulatory body which would oversee and monitor coaching institutes. It would create guidelines and enforce them on coaching institutes. Moreover, it may also set up a helpline where children can anonymously complain about issues related to coaching centers. Secondly, it is crucial to tackle the rampant issue of black money within these institutes. I recommend that a thorough investigation should be taken by any central agency to eliminate these illegal practices in coaching institutes. However, the real problem lies within our broader education system. Our focus should be on increasing the quality of our Indian education system so that the reliance on coaching institutes diminishes over time. But the real solution, ladies and gentlemen, sits here in this Vidhan Sabha. जब यहाँ पर बैठा हर एक छात्र अपनी आवाज उठाएगा गलत चीज पर, उस दिन देश में बदलाव होगा। उस दिन बच्चे सुसाइड नहीं करेंगे, उस दिन बच्चे एक खुशहाल जीवन जिएंगे। Once Martin Luther King gave a speech speaking about his dream of his nation, and today I present to you my dream. I have a dream that one day every student will find support and encouragement, not pressure and despair in their pursuit of education. I have a dream that one day no student will take his own life and no tear shall be shed by any parent over the lifeless body of their child. And I know one day it will happen, it can happen, we will do it. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Honorable Member Vihan Bajaj.
सभापति महोदय को मेरा नमस्कार। मैडम स्पीकर, मैं आपके माध्यम से आपसे और इस सदन में बैठे हर माननीय सांसद से एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं। क्या आप में से कोई भी शौनक सेन के अचीवमेंट के बारे में जानते हैं, या बुकर्स प्राइज विनर गीतांजलि श्री को, या फिर शायद नीना गुप्ता जी जिन्होंने रामानुजन मैथ्स अवार्ड जीता उनको? शायद कोई नहीं जानता होगा, और इसमें कुछ गलत भी नहीं है क्योंकि इनके बारे में ना ही कोई टीवी इंटरव्यू ना ही कोई अखबार में ऐड छपी। पर हाँ, हम सब जानते हैं कि कौन से IAS कोचिंग का बैच कब से शुरू हो रहा है और कितनी % स्कॉलरशिप ऑफर हो रही है। A survey by THK Jain University has stated that 55.3% of all advertisements in newspapers are about coaching institutes. And these advertisements, Madam Speaker, are what poach the Dalits, the EWS, the weaker sections of the society, the lower middle class and the upper middle class into joining these institutes and losing their children. आज जिस जगह को माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने विद्या की काशी कही है, वो मणिकर्णिका घाट बन चुकी है महोदया, वो मणिकर्णिका घाट बन चुकी है। बच्चों के पास आत्महत्या के अलावा और कोई चारा बचा ही नहीं है, वो करेंगे क्या? Chairperson, ma'am, I agree that the budding coaching institutes are just because of the failed Indian education system, and we have no choice. We can't eradicate them because they provide employment to 1 lakh people and generate an annual revenue of 58,000 crore rupees. But surely the government should take some steps to regulate this. I appreciate the government's efforts on the coaching institute policy which they produced, but are they enough? And the answer is absolutely not. And this is not just by me, by the Delhi High Court Justice D. Murugan son. He said that, and I quote, ma'am, I quote, "This is for immediate attention for the government to act on by creating a regulatory body with appropriate powers to regulate such coaching institutes, as the current policies are completely insufficient." Moreover, ma'am, the new coaching policy has no mention to ensure transparency. I request the government to add this point to their policy also. The child to psychologist ratio currently in Indian coaching institutes are either 100:1 or maybe 150:0 at some places. सभापति महोदया, मैं कोई बड़ा परम ज्ञानी तो नहीं, पर हाँ, मेरे तजुर्बे से मुझे 2-4 सुझाव ज़रूर देने हैं माननीय मुख्यमंत्री और उनकी कैबिनेट को। पहला तो गवर्नमेंट को एक स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी इस्टेब्लिश कर देनी चाहिए किसी एक्ट के माध्यम से या एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में अमेंडमेंट के माध्यम से, ताकि इन कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूशनों पर रेगुलेशन रखा जाए। इसके साथ ही मैं उनसे अनुरोध करूंगा कि एक चाइल्ड हेल्पलाइन नंबर और एक एक्स्ट्रा लैंग्वेज लर्निंग पॉलिसी भी इंट्रोड्यूस करवाई जाए कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूटों में। चेयरपर्सन मैम, आज बात विपक्ष या पक्ष की नहीं, देश के हित, युवा, अभिमान और सम्मान की है। मैं उचित मंत्रालय और सरकार से अनुरोध करूंगा कि मेरी बातों पर विचार विमर्श करे और देश के लिए उचित निर्णय ले। धन्यवाद।
ऑनरेबल मेंबर तरंग जजू।
धन्यवाद अध्यक्ष महोदया। माननीय, मैं अपने सहभागियों के सभी तर्कों से, विचारों से काफी हद तक सहमत हूं, लेकिन पूरी तरह से अब भी नहीं। माननीय, कोचिंग संस्थाओं में वृद्धि का एक मुख्य कारण हमारी टूटी हुई और अव्यवस्थित शिक्षा प्रणाली है। आपको कई ऐसे स्कूल मिल जाएंगे जो स्कूल परिसर के अंदर ही कोचिंग संस्थाएं चला रहे हैं। नाम तो नहीं लेना चाहूंगा, पर हम सभी को पता है। ये स्कूल अपनी मनमानी कर रहे हैं तो हमें इन स्कूलों पर नियम बनाने की आवश्यकता है। माननीय, पर कोचिंग संस्थानों की ज़रूरत क्या है? आज जेई और नीट जैसी परीक्षाओं के लिए छात्रों को वैचारिक स्पष्टता यानी कि कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी की ज़रूरत होती है, जो स्कूल में प्रदान ही नहीं की जाती। ऐसे में छात्रों के पास केवल कोचिंग का सहारा रह जाता है। हाल ही में हमारे शिक्षा मंत्रालय ने कोचिंग संस्थानों के लिए कुछ निर्देश जारी किए हैं, जिनके अनुसार 16 वर्ष से कम आयु के किसी भी छात्र का कोचिंग में नामांकन ही नहीं हो सकता। आज हम सभी जानते हैं कि प्रतिस्पर्धा का स्तर कहां तक पहुंच चुका है। ऐसे में आप ही बताइए, कैसे एक 16-17 साल का छात्र जो केवल 2 साल से तैयारी कर रहा है, वो उनसे आगे जा पाएगा जो 6-7 साल से तैयारी कर रहे हैं। तो माननीय, जो ये प्रस्ताव है ना कोचिंग संस्थाओं पर लगाम लगाने का, ये केवल एक बहाना है सरकार की कमियों को छुपाने का। और मेरे सहभागियों ने कहा कि कोटा राजस्थान में 26 छात्रों ने आत्महत्या की, परंतु माननीय, हमारे शीर्ष न्यायालय सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने 30 नवंबर 2023 को यह निर्णय दिया था कि छात्रों की आत्महत्या का जिम्मेदार कोचिंग संस्थाएं नहीं, बल्कि उनके माता पिता की अधूरी अपेक्षाएं, आर्थिक स्थिति और मानसिक दबाव है, जो छात्रों को आत्महत्या के लिए मजबूर करती हैं। तो अतः हमें अपने पूरे समाज में, पूरी मानसिकता में और पूरी शिक्षा प्रणाली में रूपांतरण की जरूरत है। अंततः मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि आज हमें अपने युवा का सहयोग करना होगा। हमें हार जीत, पक्ष विपक्ष से ऊंचा उठकर बातें करनी होगी, नहीं तो कल यही युवा हमें ही अपना दोषी ठहराएगा। हमें अपने युवा में आत्मविश्वास और जोश स्फुरित करना पड़ेगा कि ज़माना मिटा सके हमें उतना दम नहीं, और ज़माना हमसे है, हम ज़माने से नहीं। अंततः मैं यही कहना चाहूँगा कि आइए हम सब मिलकर प्रयास करते हैं कि झूठ, मक्कारी, बेरोजगारी और रिश्वतखोरी बंद हो जाए और युवा हमारे देश का फिर से विवेकानंद हो जाए। जय हिंद, जय भारत। धन्यवाद अध्यक्ष महोदय।
ऑनरेबल मेंबर आरुष शर्मा।
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As B.B. King once said, nobody can take away the power of education. As I believe, coaching institute requires support from government, not control from government. Nowadays, coaching classes have become a great tool for students like me, who is also a coaching student, to achieve their great academic heights, as well as help them crack tough examinations today as we see them as NEET, JEE, UPSC, etc. Madam Speaker, we can say this government can help coaching classes, will be able to expand their footprints, not just across country, but going with a global world and having a bigger dream. By government control, this will be converting coaching classes from not a tool for helping students, but just converting them into corporations, turning them into retail shops. There is no worth in killing the creativity. We students come to coaching classes as a way for achieving our dreams. The different teachers, a different environment where our friends are our competitions. Nobody, as well as I believe the deaths in coaching classes are very bad. But do we have to forget the beautiful faces of the smiling parents, smiling students, smiling teachers when a person cracks these examinations, taking a larger step towards their future? As we see today, many times there are applications written in newspapers, articles written in phone, as well as everywhere, that a student committed suicide, financial pressure, etc. But sometimes we have to also read the articles stating the happiness of these students when they crack out of their own power. Because I would like to say, दुनिया में ख्वाब देखने के लिए तो आए हैं, ये कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट तो हमारी सीढ़ियां हैं, सर उठा के जिएंगे क्योंकि हम कामयाब होकर दिखाएंगे। ये दुनिया में हम सर झुकाने नहीं आए हैं क्योंकि ये हमारा सपना है। People start coaching classes in many rural places. I am from Bihar. I have seen in villages that people start these coaching classes as a way to help younger students who have not so access to great resources and everything, to help them. But if there are such many...
Kindly conclude.
So I would like to say, rather than pointing fingers at these coaching institutes, I would like to government to change their policies, to increase the seats so that the students can see light in their dreams, so that they can change their perspective of this world, not looking at suicide and other problems. Thank you.
Honorable Member Kinjal Singh.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker Madam. With the permission of the Honorable Speaker Madam, as a young and woke mind of my country, considering it my outright duty, today I stand in favor of the motion. In the current scenario, coaching institutions are essential for competitive exam preparation and personalized education, which is not fully available in school due to time constraints and specific syllabus, which is why 75% of Indian students opt for coaching. But media reports are highlighting that these coaching institutions are charging very high fees and using unfair practices, causing stress on students, which even leads to suicidal cases. The 2024 guidelines do prohibit misleading promises or guarantee ranks to protect families who sacrifice their livelihoods for these fees. लेकिन अगर इन नियमों का उल्लंघन ऐसे ही होता रहा तो एक गरीब बच्चा जो कोचिंग की एडमिशन फीस के लिए धक्के खाता है, उसकी व्यथा बस यही हो जाएगी कि लेकर अपनी टूटी साइकिल कोचिंग भागा हूँ, एडमिशन फीस के चक्कर में रात भर जागा हूँ, भाग दौड़ की जिंदगी में आई बहुत थकान, एडमिशन फीस के चक्कर में बिक गए खेत मकान, उम्र हमारी 18 बरस की हर दिन मुझे सताती है, एडमिशन फीस चुकाने में उम्र बीती जाती है, देख देख शिक्षा का आलम मन में बड़ी उदासी है, but this poor child can be helped by following regulations laid in an effective regulatory framework. We must know that a framework is important, but what's more important is the strict implementation. मैं यहाँ उपस्थित सभी सांसदों से पूछना चाहती हूँ कि क्या हम हमारे भारत के युवाओं को ऐसे कोचिंग संस्थानों में पढ़ने भेज सकते हैं जहाँ ना कोई नियम हो ना कानून और बस कोचिंग वालों की मनमानी हो? क्या हम भारत के युवाओं का भविष्य दांव पर लगा सकते हैं? USA, UK, Canada and Australia are examples of countries that have implemented an effective regulatory framework.
Honorable Member, kindly conclude.
In India also, violations would incur penalties. Now, I would like to anchor the ship of my words with a famous quote by APJ Abdul Kalam sir. हम राष्ट्र नहीं बनाते, हम इंसान बनाते हैं, उन्हें शिक्षित करें और राष्ट्र अपने आप बन जाएगा. जय हिंद.
Honorable Member स्नेहा राठौर.
धन्यवाद अध्यक्ष महोदया. किसी महान व्यक्ति का कहना था कि युवा के विकास की परिकल्पना उस वट वृक्ष के समान है जिसकी जड़ें हमारी पुरातन संस्कृति हो, जिसका तना हमारा लोकतांत्रिक मूल्य हो, जिसकी शाखाएं हो सबका साथ, सबका विकास और सबका विश्वास, युवा कौशल जिसकी पत्तियां हो, जिसे सींचे हम अपने परिश्रम से और फलस्वरूप हमें मिले विकसित विश्वगुरु भारत. As quoted by Mahatma Gandhi, live as if you were to die tomorrow and learn as if you were to live forever. These words remind us that education is not merely about acquiring knowledge, but continuous growth throughout our lives. Do you know what Lord Macaulay once said in British Parliament? He said that it is nearly impossible to rule India, but if they succeeded in breaking our backbone, our education system, then they'll succeed in breaking our entire nation, and that's what they did, and that's what today's coaching institutions are doing. They are prioritizing rote learning over true understanding, thus reducing education to a mere race for marks. आज के कोचिंग संस्थानों ने गुणवत्तापूर्ण शिक्षा को हर नागरिक के मौलिक अधिकार से एक विशेष अधिकार बना दिया है. चिंतित माता पिता की नजरों में ये कोचिंग संस्थान पैसा छापने की मशीन बन गए हैं जो छात्रों और अभिभावकों की असुरक्षाओं पर गिद्ध दृष्टि लगाए हुए हैं. आपको यह जान के हैरानी होगी कि हमारे देश के प्रतिष्ठित कोचिंग संस्थानों में 120 से भी ज्यादा छात्रों के लिए केवल एक अध्यापक नियुक्त होता है. क्या ये पर्याप्त है? साथियों, याद रखिए, संघर्षों के साए में इतिहास हमारा पलता है. जिस और जवानी चलती है उस और जमाना चलता है. हमें जरूरत है मजबूत नियम बनाने की ताकि यह कोचिंग संस्थान पारदर्शी रूप से संचालित हो
और छात्रों की भलाई को प्राथमिकता दें। हमें खुद से पूछना चाहिए कि क्या हम ऐसी शिक्षा प्रणाली को कायम रखेंगे जो गुलामी के कालखंड में साजिशन रची गई थी, या फिर हम एक नए रास्ते पर चलेंगे जो विचारों की विविधता का जश्न मनाता हो, हर व्यक्ति को स्वतंत्र रूप से सशक्त बनाता हो। अंत में मैं बस यही कहना चाहूँगी कि वसुधा का नेता कौन हुआ, भूखंड विजेता कौन हुआ, अतुलित यशक्रेता कौन हुआ, नवधर्म प्रणेता कौन हुआ, जिसने न कभी आराम किया, विघ्नों में रहकर काम किया, विघ्नों में रहकर काम किया। जय हिंद, जय भारत और धन्यवाद। ऑनरेबल मेंबर ख्याति सिंह।
Thank you, respected madam. Namaskar and Jai Hind to the respected chair and my worthy mates. Speaking in the favor of the motion, I would like to draw your attention to the fact that this motion lies in major three words: why, how, and the ground reality. Respected madam, as we look on, why is the transformation required? It lies in the keywords of the motion itself, which is first, transparency. The boards we see outside, उन हंसते चेहरों के पीछे कितनी सच्चाई है, कितने आंसू हैं, कितने दुख हैं, हम कभी नहीं जान सकते. We just see it. Misleading promises regarding ranks and marks to the parents and the buying ranks and leaking of question papers are some of the regular accusations put upon major coaching institutions. And it's always proved right. NEET paper leak, IIT paper leak, and whatnot. Suicide, we all spoke about. And it fills me with guilt that their death wasn't enough, that we are standing here to talk about it. Reports after reports published that 10,000 on an average students commit suicide in major coaching industries. Now, the second major keyword of the motion is equality. Equality how? क्योंकि UPSC तो top एक ऑटो वाले की बेटी भी कर लेती है, but the money is invested in it, and the ones who can't go it end their life thinking that they can never achieve anything. And quality of education, एक टीचर पे 100-200 बच्चे रहेंगे तो कॉन्सेप्ट कहाँ क्लियर होगा? Where will the concept go? It will just be the surface knowledge that will remain, and ones will exceed and the others won't. Now, it's not just these major issues. Where's the safety? I would like to draw your attention to one of the incidents happened on 6 June 2024 in Jaipur, where I'm standing in this particular place, that there was this particular coaching institution where fire broke out and people were jumping off the building to save their lives. How is this right? And same was seen in Mukherjee Nagar in Delhi. So we are repeating and repeating episodes, but no major action is still taken. Now, will these things ever change? Because the coaching institutions remind me of a famous line by Mirza Ghalib that हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत, लेकिन दिल को खुश करने का गालिब ये ख्याल अच्छा है.
Honorable member, kindly conclude.
So, what we need is a regulating body to look upon what is happening, because all these major amendments taken are not enough, and that will make our country proud and the Vishwaguru again. Thank you.
Honorable member Ashi Kushwaha.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Shri Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, verse 5.18, the wise sees no difference between a learned and a humble Brahmin, a cow, an elephant, a dog, or a dog-eater. It is important for students to take knowledge and for teachers to be honest with them and their duty, so none lose faith, which is what brings us to the motion of the hour. Coaching now becomes an important part of student life, but being practical, it's important to question whether they are working ethically or are the students really being benefited. Honorable Speaker, according to Economic Times, the Central Consumer Protection Authority of India had to issue notices to 17 IAS coaching institutes for inflating their success rates from 933 to 3,500 successful candidates in the UPSC examination. And many such cases of malpractices done by the coaching institutions have been recorded over the years. Now, I ask the government, how did we allow this to happen? And even if it did, is issuing notices and charging fines all we are going to do about it? We say that this generation does not take care about their future. How will they when these institutions are playing such cruel jokes on their future, deceiving and lying to them? A framework here, however, will ensure that these institutions are honest with the students and provide more transparency in the cycle. Furthermore, the Gurgaon government tabled for the presence of psychologists at coaching institutes at the budget session of the Coaching Institutions Bill 2024. Kota alone has witnessed 23 suicide cases in 2023 and 15 in 2022. And this is not a small number. If only someone would have guided those students at the right time, if only someone would have heard them and given them the correct answers at the right time, the situation would have been different. I believe that the framework will ensure the presence of those experts at the center and provide more manageable syllabus and standard to the students. Let's change the view a little. I'm sure we have all heard about, when it comes to CLAT preparation, we have all heard about Career Launcher, IMS or Career Ledge. They are the 5-star big shot players after all. But have you heard about Abhyas Chanakya or CLAT Gurukul? No, you haven't. All thanks to the monopoly. You argue that the framework will restrict creativity. I propose it will prevent the existence of such monopoly in the market and give exposure to new institutions, providing more affordable options to the student. These above explained cases already prove why we need a framework regulating the coaching institutes. I suggest we implement it in such a way that it does not disturb the privacy or the working of an institution.
Honorable member, kindly conclude.
But only ensures that they work ethically. The release guidelines should have proper and detailed steps that has to be taken and the assignment of executives to make sure that they work ethically. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Honorable member, Saizampui Silo.
Good morning. First of all, I would like to say students are an integral part of our country, so isn't our government more shouldn't our government be more caring about them? Isn't schools enough for our students instead of burning our students out in these coaching institutions who do not care about the students, the well-being of the students, whether they are studying properly in the right environment, in the right social environment, but instead these coaching institutions are draining them out, only caring about their results, what the students are taking results from their students. They only care about what the students are doing with their results. They only care about the results but not the students. The environment that they have set up for them is not well enough for the students, that there are more and more suicide rates in such a short span of time, in such little children who do not know more and should be studying more. Our government must step up and revive our students before they fade away into the collapse of these institutions. Thank you.
Honorable member, Ajinkya Chinmay Mhaskar.
Thank you for the recognition, Madam Speaker. It is a sad reality that the coaching industry, which is once seen as a means of enhancing education, has transformed into a business that exploits our youth's dreams and aspirations. The fact that the government must intervene to protect our children from institutions that were meant to empower them says a lot about the quality of our education system, members of parliament. But if this is the price we must pay to ensure our country's future, so be it. क्या यही है हमारी शिक्षा प्रणाली? The coaching industry has become a breeding ground for dishonesty, with many institutions making inflated promises that they cannot keep. Section 2, subsection 28 of the Consumer Protection Act of 2019 defines misleading advertisements. Coaching institutions mislead parents into believing that it is a necessity for them to enroll their children in their coaching institutions, without which clearing entrance examinations will be close to impossible. क्या आपने देखा है कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट अक्सर अपने सक्सेस रेट्स को गलत तरीके से पेश करते हैं, जिससे छात्रों को ये गलत फहमी होती है कि या हाई मार्क्स या सिर्फ एनरोलमेंट से उन्हें उनकी ड्रीम कॉलेजेस मिल जाएगी, विदाउट एनी वेरीफाइबल एविडेंस. Many of these institutions not only exaggerate their success claims, but also misuse the names and images of successful students without their consent, which violates Section 21 of the Consumer Protection Act of 2019. However, we must not lose hope. The CCPA has taken bold steps to crack down on misleading advertisements, emphasizing honesty and transparency. Nor can we ignore the pressing issue of safety in coaching centers. The tragic fire accident in Delhi has shaken us all. It is our responsibility to ensure that our coaching institutes are secure and well maintained with standardized regular audits and measures to protect the future of our nation, our very students. It is time for us to demand more from our government, more from our education system, and indeed more from ourselves. As we take such challenges, we must not forget the fragile minds entrusted to our guidance. A set of well-certified counselors to be appointed is the set guidelines for all institutions alike, which should be strictly enforced.
Member, kindly conclude.
हमारे बच्चों का भविष्य हमारा भविष्य है. Let us take a stand today to ensure that our education system serves its true purpose. The United Nations Education and Sustainable Development Goals are our self-development goals. Let us all take the path of unity for the purpose and become a great Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Bhumika Saini, Honorable Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Chair, for the Thank you, Chair, for the recognition. Before anything else, I would like to start with a quote that says, "The erosion of trust of people in the government is the main reason as a threat to our democracy." कहने का अर्थात ये है कि ये विश्वास ही है लोगों का सरकार में जो सूत्रधार है किसी भी लोकतंत्र को महान बनाने का। पर अब विश्वास किया भी जाए तो कैसे किया जाए जब सरकार के स्कैम की लिस्ट ही इतनी लंबी हो कि एक नई वेब सीरीज तक बनाई जा सके। बीच एनटीए स्कैम, बीच जेई के पेपर बिकना या फिर यूपीएससी के आला अफसरों का पकड़ा जाना। और हमारी माननीय सरकार तो ऐसी है, they pretend that they are working on it. But the fact we all know कि हो तो कुछ नहीं रहा. And they talk about transparency, unbiasedism. What an hypocrites they are. इतना ऐसा कितनी बार हुआ है जब बच्चों ने किसी सर्वे की रिपोर्ट मांगी हो और वो बिल्कुल ट्रांसपेरेंट आई हो या आपने कल ही वो रिपोर्ट पेश कर दी हो. How many times have it happened? इस बात में कोई दो राय नहीं है कि हमारा लोकतंत्र विश्व का सबसे महान और सबसे बड़ा लोकतंत्र है. We have the largest constitution. Even our legal laws are stronger than USA. But where we lack is the implementation of these laws. And the reason? Corruption, political interest. We never know when this precious circle of studies become the vicious circle of political interest. And here, I would like to urge this entire hall that we don't need government. अरे लोगों का तो विश्वास ही नहीं है. जहाँ विश्वास ना हो, वहाँ कोई regulatory framework कैसे चल सकता है? When people are dying, when the kids are dying, how can you say कि आप कोई regulatory framework देंगे और लोग उसको अंधाधुन विश्वास करेंगे? Never. We need an independent body. It's an era of specialization. People study child psychology, criminology. For that matter, we can have two lawyers who have studied the educational laws very well. And we can have the people like Divyakirti sir, Alakh Pandey sir, who can provide us the regulatory framework. And we can debate that in this parliament. सरकार भी आ गई, लोग भी आ गए, because masses का विश्वास सरकार के साथ तो नहीं है. They trust these people. And we want the trust. We need this independent body. By the way, अगर government इतनी strong हो सकती थी, then why the change to CBSE to NT? CBSE have taken a lot of steps. They have conducted an entire re-NEET because of 44 boys. Now that's what a government should say. And that's what a government should do. ना कि केवल झूठे वादे करना, क्योंकि ये तो सदियों से होते आ ही रहे. आपका अनबायसिज्म हम जानते हैं, आपका अनबायसिज्म हम पहचानते हैं. At the end, I would like to urge to the government that please, once again, please appropriately mention child health in your guidelines and focus on the child welfare, quality education over money and your political interest, just enrollment and literacy. This is all we need. And as an opposition leader, देखिए मैं भी आप पे विश्वास नहीं करती, तो लोग तो क्या ही करेंगे. लोगों का विश्वास पाने के लिए चीज़ों को सही करना पड़ता है. बातें और वादे नहीं किए जाते, उन वादों को पूरा भी करना पड़ता है. ये बच्चों की जिंदगी है, कोई मजाक नहीं जिनके साथ हम खेलें. और आपके रेगुलेटरी फ्रेमवर्क्स के लिए वी आर वेरी सॉरी. प्लीज वर्क ऑन देम एंड हैव एन इंडिपेंडेंट बॉडी which people trust, not your vicious cycle of money, sir. Thank you.
Siddharth S., Honorable Chief Minister.
कोचिंग का कारोबार हर कोने में छा गया है। विद्या का मूल उद्देश्य कहीं खो सा गया है। हर बच्चा दौड़ में भागता सपनों को भूल जाता है। प्रतिस्पर्धा की इस आग में इंसानियत जल जाता है। ज्ञान की रोशनी से फिर से भारत को जगाओ। अधिकार हर बच्चे का है, यह समाज को बताओ। भारत की मिट्टी में फिर से संस्कारों की नींव रखो। शिक्षा का मतलब हो वही जो मन और आत्मा को सजाए, जो मन और आत्मा को सजाए। Good morning to one and all present here. First and foremost, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the Honorable Speaker, Madam. I would also like to express my gratitude for bringing up this topic of great importance. I am here to offer my final thoughts on this debate. Picture this, a young boy from Rajghat, son of a farmer, who has a dream to join IIT one day. How on earth will he afford 3 lakhs per annum as tuition fees, ladies and gentlemen? I shall ask, why should he not be given the same right to quality coaching as someone from a well-to-do family? Now let's say he has arranged for the money. Maybe he sold a cow, won a lottery, or maybe he found a treasure in his backyard. But now arises the next big challenge. How far he needs to go in order to get that quality coaching? Ladies and gentlemen, why has it become such a big challenge in this modern world to get quality coaching? These are not the only issues. The current teacher to student ratio averages 1:150. I repeat, 1:150. And yes, in some areas it experiences even higher ratios. And the stress, in 2023, 26 coaching students died by committing suicides. And yes, as all of you might know by now, most of these coaching institutions don't even have counselors in them. Now, I've been hearing about the current NEET controversy, which talks about paper leaks for so long, day and night, and reading about it in newspapers. सुन के पक गया हूँ. I believe I need not elaborate on it any further. Whereas, let's consider the civil service examinations which have been going on for so long in the history of independent India. Has any one of you heard of a single incident of paper leaks? The answer is a loud and clear no. How do you think this is possible? The answer is simple and lies in one word: constitutionalization. We would bring a comprehensive legislation to regulate the functioning of coaching institutions, in which there would be provisions for the following. The National Testing Agency would be established as a national, statutory and constitutional body in which, with a uniform legislation applicable across the country. The teacher-student ratio shall be improved to ensure more effective and personalized education. 1:150. No way. Let's aim for something better, yaar. 1:30. More teachers, fewer students, better results. The fee structure shall be lowered to enhance affordability and accessibility. Obviously, our student from Rajghat is going to benefit from this. New coaching institutes shall be set up in rural areas to provide educational opportunities to undeserved regions. Who wants to travel 4 to 6 hours a day just to get quality coaching, ladies and gentlemen? Only the most dedicated cricket fans would travel that much for a match. Online coaching shall be encouraged as a flexible and accessible mode of learning. The Digital India initiative could support this transition. Scholarship programs shall be introduced. A grievance redressal mechanism shall be established to address the concerns and complaints of both students and parents. Mental health counseling services shall be made available to support students' well-being. Coaching institutes shall not be allowed to operate during school hours to prevent the creation of dummy schools. For the sake of paper, most of these students are enrolled in these schools, but in reality, they attend these coaching institutions. It's like enrolling in a gym, but spending all your time at the snack bar. We would introduce a mechanism to enforce these guidelines effectively.
In case of breach of any of these guidelines, we would make a provision for penalty and stringent action would be taken. Further, we urge the Government of India to bring a legislation for the whole nation. Without a uniform legislation, states with less stringent rules could become hubs for coaching institutions, prompting students to migrate to such areas. One good example of this, which we all know, is Kota in this very state of Rajasthan. The state government will prepare these schools and update the curriculum to help students get ready for competitive exams. सुधार के साथ हम कोचिंग संस्थानों को वापस लाएंगे। सुधार के साथ हम कोचिंग संस्थानों को वापस लाएंगे, गुणवत्ता की शिक्षा और प्रतिस्पर्धा की तैयारी के लिए सही दिशा दिखाएंगे। जय हिंद, जय भारत, धन्यवाद।